You're watching Good Morning Kenya. This is People and Politics. Of course, this is what we do every Tuesday. We look at what is happening in the political landscape and talk about everything and anything in between. My name is Mike Migwi. Thank you for tuning in. You're just in time for our first conversation. But before we get into our first conversation, it's important I take you through the front pages of our local dailies, and I'll be starting with the Standard. This is what is captured on the front page of the Standard. The untouchable. Two powerful Mount Kenya politicians, Murang'a woman rep Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi, are at the center of explosive claims linking them to violent disruptions of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's church meetings. As disturbing scenes involving women and children emerge, their alleged actions have made a mockery of the title Honorable. While the police inaction has reignited fears that some commanders may be acting at the beck and call of politicians with influence, not the law determining who is questioned, arrested, or left untouched, raising hard questions about impunity and whether some of leaders are truly untouchable. That story is told on page 4 of the Standard newspaper. Moving on to what is captured or being reported on the front page of the Star newspaper. 1 in 10 Nairobi men struggling with erectile disorder. That story is told on page 2. Most participants reported cigarette smoking, cannabis use, alcohol abuse. That is a story you'll read on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Inside Wipers bid to position Kalonzo for Ruto showdown. That is a story regarding the elections of 2027 and the direction in which the political landscape is shifting towards. Nusrat breaks gene cars to save stray cats in Mombasa. That is a story told on page 9 of the Star newspaper. And finally, handshake, quote-unquote, gaps. Open door for Ruto in Raila strongholds. That is a story told on page 7 of the Star newspaper. Now, moving over to the Daily Nation, let's look at what is being reported or what is captured on the front page of the Daily Nation. Storm over Gachagua gun attacks. The clergy has condemned Sunday's disruption of a church service attended by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and demanded an end to the desecration of places of worship by police officers and goons. That is a story told on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. After attacks, this is a question that is being asked here. Cover up. After attacks on former Deputy President, authorities still vow stern action as perpetrators walk free. Read that story in detail on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. How learners who cannot read are progressing to junior school. Half of the learners in grade 6 can neither read and comprehend a grade 3 level English story nor solve numeracy problems for that class. That is according to a new report raising serious questions about the quality of education within the country. That story is told on page 2 of the Daily Nation. Taxpayers face heavy burden as county chiefs set to earn a state pension. That is a story that is captured on page 7 of the Daily Nation. And actually the front page of the Daily Nation captures part of what we are going to talk today regarding matters to do with power, political parties, and the limits of politics. You saw what happened on Sunday. We also saw that the disruption of a church service in Witima ACK Church in Othaya, that is in Nyeri County. There was tear gassing and fracas that followed thereafter. So what are the limits of politics? where does the rule of law play its role in all this? In studio, I'm joined by Thomas Omao, who is a governance and political expert. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Good morning, Mike.
And also Mark Ndingo, who is a governance and political expert. Karibu sana.
Good morning, thank you.
And Peter Ndungu, who is a political analyst. Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya.
Good morning.
Yes, now we get into this conversation. Actually, the front page of the Daily Nation, Storm over Gashagua's gun attacks, there's an outline of events that have happened, and there have been fracas in those events. And one of the persons, actually the common denominator there is that these are functions that have been attended by the former deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua. I don't know, Omao, what you make of all this. Seeing that we are now nearing the electioneering period and the kind of politics that we are engaging in, what do you make of all this?
Thank you once again, Mike, for the golden opportunity. Actually, I saw the sad scenes from the church in Othaya, and personally, I'm a Christian and also a church elder who subscribes to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And from our faith, we are told that a church is a place where people go to seek solace from the daily challenges of life. But it was so sad that we saw the sad scenes from Othaya. What we saw is a reflection of what is most probably going to happen in the coming elections of 2027. In 2018, Nick Cheesman authored a book about election rigging. And the title of the book is Rigging Elections. With the respect to Cheesman, elections are stolen way before the material election day. And he has outlined a number of ways of rigging elections.
Yes.
And part of the reasons is use of violence, intimidation, and even goons. What we saw is so sad, Mike,
Yes.
because if we are not keen enough as a country, we are going to witness what happened in the aftermath of the elections of 2007. And I believe we have in place proper constitutional structures. We have Article 15 of the Constitution has laid quite an elaborate number of constitutional institutions,
Yes.
Including but not limited to the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, that should move with speed to contain these scenarios before they erupt or before they bring about the ethnic jingoism as we head to the elections of 2027. Political rights are well defined in the Constitution. Let each and every Kenyan hold his or her political rallies without necessarily being intimidated.
Yes.
We need to have that right without any fear of contradiction. So what we saw should be condemned with the strongest terms possible, because if we are not keen enough, then we are not going to have a country past 2027. Yeah.
So when you look at, Mark Ndingo, when you look at what is happening, I want to get your sentiments on that. And also there's something that Omao has said in his opening remarks, that this is a reflection of what is to come in 2027. Do you agree with that?
Thank you, Mike. Looking at the events of last Sunday, I think we must be worried on what is going to happen next. Because, Mike, if you remember, in just before the 2007 elections, there was a lot of intolerance as concerns to our political space. And it continued like that till the elections. And that was one of the things which made our country to go to chaos in that elections. And if we watch these happenings without doing anything, it might turn out to be a problem in the coming elections. Because if you allow the security team to accompany goons to go and attack a church, which is a place of worship, and after the attack, nothing happens. We've not seen even a single person being arrested. And this is not the first case, imagine, because if you count the many times the church and the way the goons and the police have attacked any gathering that the former president has been having, you'll count them to be more than 10. And nothing has ever been done or investigated to that effect. So I think it's worrying if you look at what is happening, and we are just about some few months towards the 2027 elections. So we want to call upon the security people and the security team to move with speed and stop this, because if this is not going to stop, you know, nobody has a monopoly of violence. Even those the violence being meted upon will now plan out to retaliate, and that will not be good for this country. So we need to call it out, and we need to condemn it with the highest terms it deserves. Yeah.
Indeed, on the front page of the Daily Nation, it has outlined events citing November 2024, suspected Mungiki gang members attack Gachagua in Limuru, Kiambu. December 2024, police officer hurls tear gas, disrupting meeting at Shamata in Nyandarua. April 2025, gunfire, Gachagua security men battle goons, PCA in Mweki, that was in Nairobi. February 2025, goons disrupt Dorcas Gachagua's crusade at Kamukunji. It's outlined a number of events that have similar happenings. And I want you, Mr. Peter Dung, to give your take on that, and also ask you this question. Where do politics end and the rule of law start?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Karibu sana.
And secondly, I would like to condemn whatever happened on Sunday because it was not a good thing. But there is a saying in Kiswahili which says that Mugara muwe na haki yake mpe. Yesterday, I watched the MP for Madeira, Wamumbi, articulating issues. And unfortunately, his issues has not been captured in our media today because he was elaborating clearly that whatever happened was, even if it happened the way it happened, but somehow it was state managed by the people who want to look for sympathy. Because we have to look this coin from the both sides. We have to check and look into these details, in details, kabisa, because now on Sunday, me as a politician, I'm looking things from a different angle. One, I would not like such things to continue happening again, first and foremost, because children and women and the elderly people suffered, and everybody else suffered. Secondly, there are some people who are trying to drive a narrative or trying to get sympathy from other people at the expense of even lives of the other people. Because in our circles, that is political circle, somebody was trying to bring an issue that one of that competitor of ours has already been abducted, but that thing did not carry the day. So this thing I would like, and also let me thank it's called the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kanja, because he requested immediately the investigation to start. I know very soon investigation will be completed and people will be apprehended from whichever side and will be taken to court. But also, let me talk about politics. This narrative, this issue, has now already covered up the current government scorecards which were produced yesterday. Some of these things are done mathematically. Those people who come up with these things, they know what they are doing. These are pure politics. Is somebody trying to to stop something else, Kenyans from listening to what they should be listening, and all the attention taken to one direction. Because,
yes,
for example, let me tell you, yesterday was a very, very important day for Kenyans, when their main servant number one, His Excellency the President, was releasing his scorecards to Kenyans, telling them, since you elected me, to date, this is what I have done for you. But today, unfortunately, in our newspapers, the report is so small. Every attention has been stolen by the incident which happened on Sunday. Now, these are pure politics, and I would like to request Kenyans to pay attention on things which can help them. Because, for example, like whatever was being articulated yesterday was very, very important to our lives. Because the president himself yesterday explained very well how he has come up with agendas of transforming this country.
Be that as it may, yes, you know, this is not the first time we are having these events happen.
Yes.
It's outlined here, and it's even on a public domain. Events in Mweki, Nyandarua, Kamukunji, in Kigumo, Muranga, Narok Town, Gatondo South. So let me ask you this. First of all, if I want to get your point right, are you suggesting that whatever was happening on Sunday was stage managed?
I will not rule out that item. I said it here that either of the two, that maybe they were attacked, the way they are saying, or either maybe this thing was stage managed by the culprit themselves.
Let me ask you this. If it was stage managed and we've had a replica of the same in past events, why haven't people been arrested for stage managing these events?
No, that's why I'm calling upon the Inspector General. And we are very lucky because on this Sunday, Inspector General of Police came out himself and requested that investigation be done. In fact, he gave directives to the people in charge to do investigation and apprehend the people who are responsible for this and take them to court. So at least now there is a spark of the light at the end of the tunnel that these things must stop now. Whoever is responsible, me, I'm not saying that this one should be protected or the other person should be protected. No, I'm saying whoever is responsible should be apprehended and taken to court of the law.
Another question to
Yes.
you. Yes, we've had these events, and
Yes.
every time there's an aspect of investigations will be done, and people will be held to account, people will be taken to court, those who have perpetrated this. Why haven't we seen anyone being prosecuted on that? And what does that mean when it comes to the commitment of the National Police Service in as far as enforcing the law and order is concerned? And even when it comes to investigations of such incidents?
Okay, maybe I might not be in position to respond to the why people have not been arrested and so on and so forth. But earlier I told you very well that this is a pure politics. And sometimes maybe the perpetrators of these things or people who are planning these things would like these arrests to happen to them so that now the Kenyans can have sympathy on them. This is pure politics. There is nothing here which is so extraordinary. This is pure politics. And let me explain to you and tell you very well that, one, I'm requesting the police to speed up the investigation and to arrest. Two, also I would like to tell you that this is pure politics, and maybe some of the people who are trying to bring up this issue, they are looking for sympathy. There are photos out there in the social media, people doing some other things behind the scenes and trying to say that even the abduction was there, trying to say the other thing, trying to bring some narrative.
That's why I'm asking if it's self-sponsored or self-inflicted, so to speak. Why haven't there been arrests? Because I ask you the same question I've asked him. When it comes to politics and the rule of law, where do we draw the line?
Mike, thank you, Mike. This is what I'd like to say. There are various facts that we can fetch from the whole scenario. Mm-hmm. Fact number one, all the chaos and police brutality has been seen in meetings organized and planned by the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. That is a fact. Number two, I want to say that Jeffrey Rigathi Gachagua, our former Deputy President, is an angry man. In fact, I can say that he's as angry as an injured tiger because at the end of the day, he's working so hard to make sure that he punishes his former boss. The government and President William Ruto at large see this man as very, very dangerous politically, as I may put it, because this is someone who is a gifted political mobilizer. He moves mountains, and he says he's the king of the mountain. President William Ruto himself knows very well that if Rigathi Gachagua is left unchecked, then most probably is going to do him a serious political harm, especially from the mountain.
In terms of?
Mobilization, that is number one.
Yes.
And even bringing real votes. Gachagua has time and again, not once, not twice, not thrice, said that this time round, the Mount Kenya region, be it east or west, is going to cast their votes for one candidate. And the particular person they are going to vote for must win these elections. President William Ruto himself knows what this man can do. In fact, in the previous elections of 2022, Gachagua mobilized people from the region and they voted for the UDA government. And it must also be remembered at some point when the former deputy president was in office, he was issuing real and direct threats to those members of parliament from that region who were against him. And he was saying that if you don't toe the line and be loyal to the people, then the people are going to send you back home. And that's why those members of parliament sent him home before he could send them home. So what is basically happening, Mike, is a political witch hunt. And as I can carelessly put it, they want to checkmate Rigathi Gachagua, who is seen as a serious threat to their political existence. Rigathi Gachagua is a serious existential threat to those members of parliament who are against his policies, his agendas. But another serious question that we need to ask ourselves, will the investigative agencies move with speed and conduct these investigations? As a political scientist, I want to say no.
Why?
There is no investigations that are going to happen. Reason, those who are supposed to do these investigations, I want to say that the institutions that are mandated to doing that are controlled by the state and government. I just want to put it frankly that way. And these are the same people who want to control the movements and the political activities of Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua. So I don't think whether we are going to have any arrests. I don't think whether we are going to have any investigations. And about the question of stage management, that one I want to rule it out frankly. Reason, we saw bullet cartridges. That basically implies that they were fired from those who are supposed to do that. So how can a government investigate itself, Mike? That is a question that we need to ask ourselves. But at the end of the day, we need to interrogate ourselves.
Yes.
This is a serious recipe for chaos. And if our leaders are not keen enough, we are going to have a replica and also a repeat of what happened in the aftermath of the elections of 2007,
yes.
Where ethnic jingoism took center stage. We have a country to guard. You know, in the East African region, Kenya is seen to be a regional hegemony, in quotes, a small superpower. We need to guard that with a lot of respect. Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, in the early 90s, told his people in Tanzania that if you want to go to Europe, just move across the border and enter Nairobi. That's the Europe of Africa. So we need to protect our values, our politics, and also our principles as a country. Because if we are not keen enough as a country, we will not have a country beyond 2027.
Are we doing that right now?
Well, as I said last time, the greatest problem and challenge that we have is a lack of political hygiene. Why is it that politics is seen to be a matter of life and death? Why can't we compete on ideas and policies? Why can't we give other leaders, other opposition leaders, the airtime to talk their policies? You see, the aftermath of the by-elections in Malava and also from the Mount Kenya region, again, raised some fundamental questions. And the first question that those by-election raised, number one, is this by-election a reflection of what is going to happen in the elections of 2027? The question is yes. Another question, will there be police brutality as we approach the elections of 2027? The answer is again in affirmative. Another question that we ask ourselves, will there be voter bribery, intimidations as we approach the elections of 2027? The answer is also in affirmative. So, Mike, we need to be very serious as a country, both the political actors from the government side and also from the opposition side. At the end of the day, we have a country. Kenya is bigger than anyone. Kenya is bigger than any individual. Yes. We need to sanitize our politics and be serious, lest we face what we faced in the elections of 2007.
We need to sanitize our politics, very important aspect there. We're talking about power parties and the limits of politics right here on Good Morning Kenya. We take a very short break. We'll be right back to continue this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. You're watching People and Politics, and we continue with the conversation that we are having today on power parties and the limits of politics. And I want to ask you, Mark Dingo, from your perspective and going by the events that have happened in the past of similar characterization, what, from your perspective, do you think is the end game?
Thank you, Miggy. I think before I give my response on that, I need to dispel the notion that Ndungu here is saying the events were stage managed. Because if you look at what happened, we could see real goons who came with a Nissan Matatu, accompanied by a Land Rover from the police, and we could see them armed. So I don't think that was a case of stage management. And if it was stage managed, why haven't the stage managers been arrested? Because the government has all the powers to investigate even the smallest incident happening. So I think we need to be clear on that, because you see, in the politics, people want to drive their point so that it can appear to be the truth. But if you look at both sides, those who are saying it was stage managed and those who are saying this was something which was meant to stop the former president from addressing the gathering, you draw the lines and you'll see who is telling us the truth. If we go back to the events of the by-election, the Malava and the Bear one, this is the same script which is being used. Use violence, win the elections, what to do? They will do nothing. The same is happening. Stop Gachagua from addressing the gatherings, stop him from talking to people so that we can only have our time to address the gathering. And that is what is going to happen. And I want to tell my friend here, there is no arrest which is going to happen because we live in this country and we know how things are done. This is going to be swept under the carpet. We are going to have another incident, another one, another one. There are so many of them are going to happen as we approach 2027 elections. But let me say this. Most of our leaders nowadays have taken politics as a matter of life and death. And they want to do anything so that they can win back their seats. But they need to remember that power is not permanent. You will have the power today, tomorrow somebody else will have the power. So let's try to nurture our democracy in a way that we can accommodate other people's views. We can accommodate people who criticize us. Let's handle them with ideas and ideologies on how we can compete with them in a fair game. But try to suppress and to curtail other people's movements, other people's ideas, I think that one will not get us anywhere. It can only bring chaos to this country, and it can only cause a lot of problems to most of us. Because if you throw tear gas to a church where we have children and women, what message are you telling us? And what message are you telling the young ones?
Actually, that is the question I wanted to ask.
The future leaders of tomorrow.
What is the message being sent when politics enter places of worship?
Yes, that is the wrong message being sent to the young leaders of tomorrow. You are trying to tell them you cannot win an election without curtailing other people's movements. And that is wrong. That needs to be stopped. It needs to be condemned, and we need to be accommodated to one another. We can differ in ideas, we can differ in ideologies, but let's compete in a fair way so that whoever wins the election wins in a fair way. Because now we are trying to copy some things which are happening in Tanzania and Uganda, whereby you want to do an election by making sure your opponent is nowhere near the place of the election. So that is wrong, and we need to stop it. And we need, I hope our security team listens, and they need to not to take sides. Because today we have these leaders, tomorrow we are going to have different leaders. Yes. Indeed.
No, I want to ask you this. Are we breeding politics of intolerance in the country, given that our politics, especially when we approach the electioneering period, it's high octane, but going by the events that have happened even in last year and now in January, are we breeding politics of intolerance?
First and foremost, I would like to say that in the United Opposition, there are so many leaders there, including Akina, former Interior Security Minister, who is vying as a president. We have the likes of the former deputy, he was the deputy or vice president.
Vice president at the time.
And there are so many leaders. Me, I would like to ask Kenyans, why is it that when the others are going for their meetings, nothing happens? But it's only on this particular leader that things happen. That's the question I would like to throw to Kenyans, and let me raise my case. Then let me come to
Can I answer you?
Issues. No, before. I gave you time. I gave you time. So give me time as well. I'm asking Kenyans, and I want to repeat it again, and I give you your time, that we have more than 10 leaders in the United Opposition.
Yes.
With all the due respect, why? Why? And why again are we only getting attacked only in the former deputy president? Second thing I would like also to explain is that the guy is bitter, as my friend said here. But you cannot force anybody in this way, including yourself, who you are going to work with. You have been mandated to do whatever you are doing here. You only work with people who are supporting you to deliver what you have been mandated to do. If somebody is not assisting you to deliver what you have been requested to do, definitely not you work with that person. So this guy should also understand that his boss realized that they cannot transform this country with him. And when you realize that you can't be able to deliver whatever you're supposed to have delivered with him, then you should be satisfied. That thing about Mount Kenya region, me myself, my name's Peter Ndongo. I'm from Kiabu County. Kikuyu constituency, Siguna ward. I'm vying for Senate seat under UDA. And people are really supporting me. So what the narrative is trying to bring about the politics. And that's why I've told you that all of these things, this thing of him being attacked, so on and so forth, is purely politics. We should somehow divert us from the main agenda and now concentrate on him because he is taking sympathy from Kenyans.
I asked you the question of, are we breeding politics of intolerance within the country, given the events that have happened last year and now what we had on Sunday, from your perspective?
It's very unfortunate that these incidences are happening. And to be very honest, from wherever anybody sits, even me, myself, you, whoever, from whichever side, it's very unfortunate because when such attacks start happening, these things will deny us all opportunity to go to Kenyans. Because, for example, in the same church, do you really think that they will allow any other politician to go there in near future? They will not. So the kind of politics we are trying to pray here, they are not the best. That one I'll condemn it. Because when we pray such kind of politics, whereby we are really affecting the lives of people, attacking people, throwing tear gas, canisters, bullets, all those sort of bad things, they are negative as far as Kenyans are concerned. And they will affect us politicians, regardless from which side you come from, negatively. Because when the circular will come out and say that politicians are not allowed to go anywhere near Anglican Church, what are we going to do? It will not say that it's Dongo, who is in UDA, or is John, who is in DCP, or whoever else in the other party. So this is a very bad move. We are going towards the very wrong direction. And that's why I'm saying and requesting again. The investigating officers, the people who are in charge of investigations, kindly speed up the investigation and apprehend the people who are responsible and stop this nonsense, because I've called it nonsense. These are purely nonsense. Stop this thing. Allow Kenya, anybody who wants to sell his idea, let him go and sell his idea, him or her. And Kenyans will listen. And at the end of the day, for example, if I may just go back to where you asked a question about the Mbeere North, about the Marava and the other elections which were there. People went out and sold their ideologies. And I will talk about Bere because that's where I was. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, people from Bere voted for UDA candidate. So this is the things which I'm saying. People can whoever is responsible, either from our side as the government or from the other side in the opposition, allow us to have a free and fair place, allow us to talk to the people, allow Kenyans to be free to listen to all of us, and stop this kind of nonsense of attack and the other thing, because they are not benefiting anyone. In fact, they are making people to have a very negative issues against all the politicians. So I would kindly request whoever is responsible of this, either from whichever side, to stop this nonsense once and once for all.
You wanted to respond to him?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to him about, he asked something about, I think about, what was it about?
What was it about?
Yeah?
You said
you
something
put a question to Kenyans.
Yes, I say, let me repeat again, and I'm repeating it again.
Yeah.
In our competitors, because me, I'm a member of UDA, contesting Senate seat in Kiambu in UDA. Now, our competitors are many, including now the likes of Matiang'i.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get
Why only this person?
You know why? Why? Because, you know, Mount Kenya is a large voting bloc, and Mount Kenya, without... if for any politician who wants to be a president, without having the Mount Kenya vote, it's very difficult for that politician to win. And you see, one person who is giving the government that headache, we must admit that, is former president, Gachagua. Yeah. So because he's the one who can give problems and who can make that Mount Kenya vote can go to a certain direction, so they have to find a way of stopping that. You will not stop people from Jubilee, where Matiang'i comes from, voting for such a person, because that is a small voting bloc, which it can bring some change, but not that significant change as compared to Mount Kenya. If you go to Eastern, that is the lower Eastern, the same case. So with the large number of voters from Mount Kenya, And looking at the way things have gone since the former deputy president was impeached, they had to devise a way of stopping him from getting to the people and try to divert that voting bloc to a different candidate. So they will continue to stop him. Even from the Sunday's incident, mark it from me, it's going to happen again. Because they have to fight, they have looked at all the strategies and they have found that the only strategy they can get this vote is stop him from addressing gatherings, stop his movements so that the other side can only have enough time to convince the people to support them. That one will continue. We saw it happen in Mbere. They had to use some violence. So the UDA candidate won, but we saw the events that followed that win. So the same is going to happen to Mount Kenya, and that will not stop. What we are calling is only the people who are concerned with the security to give each and every candidate, each party to have their time, let them meet people at the right time, without interfering, without sending goons to them, so that we can have a fair competition. But politics being politics, you know, and Kenya being a young democracy, these are things which will continue to happen, and we will continue to find ways of how we can arrive at finding a solution to this. The only solution we can get from this is to the voters. When they elect people on ideas, but not people who made violence on others.
Omao, when you look at the political movement in terms of what is happening, I want to get this from you. Is there selective enforcement of the law dictated by political affiliation?
Thank you, Mike. A common denominator that underscores the social contract theory has it that power belongs to the people. The social contract theorists like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau have all agreed that those who occupy positions of power do so at the mercy of the people and must work for the people, failure to which they'll be subject to overthrow by the same people. When the UDA regime came to power, that is in 2022, the political mantra at that particular time was that we need to upgrade the lives of the people through the bottom-up economic political agenda. Currently, we are being treated to a different version of a Singapore moment. What happened with the bottom-up economic agenda? And I think that question will be answered by our friend who is from the government side.
Yes.
From where I sit, Mike, I want to say without any fear of contradiction that the UDA regime has failed terribly. The reason as to why we are hearing about sayings such as one term, especially to the president. One term might be realistic. And a serious issue of concern at this particular moment is, are we heading to the Malawi moment? Kindly give me a minute or two, Mike, to talk about the Malawi moment.
1 minute.
In the elections of 2020, President Lazarus Chakwera and his then deputy president, Dr. Saulos Chilima, may his soul rest in peace, were elected on a platform to transform the economic lives of the people. After being elected, in the way, there were serious political differences between Chakwera and his then vice president. At some point, Chakwera was arrested for corruption allegations, and in between, he died in a plane crash, which was questioned that he might have been killed. When that country went to the elections, in the elections of 2025, that's the last year, Chakwera lost because he had failed to deliver on the economic promise of the people. A one-term political mantra has been orchestrated by the opposition political figureheads, and they say that President William Ruto has failed to deliver to Kenyans. And how is this one term going to be realistic? And I want to say it from where I sit. President William Ruto has come up with unrealistic economic policies, which I think, as a person, will cost his second term. For example, with respect to a report by the Federation of Kenyan Employers, we have 3.1 formally employed Kenyans. These are people whose cash, whose money has been deducted from their pay slips without their consent, that this money is going to build affordable housing. And these people are not only sick, but very, very tired by this policy. What will be the policy decision? What will be their choice when these people will be going to the elections? Mike, we are not seeing these 3.1 million formally employed Kenyans. They have dependents that they are most probably going to influence their voting decisions. And they are going to tell their dependents that this regime has been oppressive. It has come up with retrogressive economic policies that has affected us in a negative way. What about those who are in the informal sector, who are in millions? Actually, the Federation of Kenyan Employers has put it at 19.4 million. Okay. So the one-term political mantra is something that is going to be very, very realistic. As our friend tells us what happened to the bottom-up economic agenda, we want to believe that this country must move forward.
Yes, I had asked you about the question. I had asked you the question about is there selective enforcement of law, especially, and does it depend on political affiliation?
Sure. That is there, Mike. Because you find that those institutions that are supposed to deal with maybe, for example, law enforcement are very, very much selective. Talk about the DCI, talk about the NCIC. Those who are anti-government are the ones that that are being targeted, which is not good in my opinion. Yeah.
All right. You respond to that?
Yeah, let me respond to him and say that the two-term mantra is very realistic. And this is now where the problem is. That the propaganda and the lies has been repeated so many times that Kenyans are not seeing the reality. Let me tell you. Yes. I just say what is bottom up and how has it started working. First and foremost, I would like to tell Kenyans that we talked about bottom up, and the first thing which we brought was the what is it called, the loan, the loan. What is the
Hustler Fund.
Hustler Fund. And the Hustler Fund is the one of the loans in this country which has the lowest interest. And once you start paying it the way you're supposed to pay, it will keep on growing. Let me tell you, that Hustler Fund has really transformed lives of Kenyans, and especially those people who are in the informal sector. 2, pension. Earlier before, we used to have National Social Security Fund deducting 200 from employees. Today, you as an employee, you are being deducted 6%, and then your employer is paying 6%. So assuring you that when you're going to retire, you'll have something sustainable to yourself. So that is a security which has been brought by this regime to the employees. 3, affordable housing. We are talking about Mukuru Kwanjenga, 13,000 houses. Yesterday I was going around and I went to Kabete, I went to Kibera to see how these projects are going. Let me tell you, these projects have been oversubscribed. That money which has been deducted to the employees, let me tell you, the kind of transformation these houses are going to do to Kenyans and are continuing doing to Kenyan is in big. And this is now what we call bottom up. Because when somebody was living in whatever he was living in, and now the house has been built by the government, he has been or she has been allocated a house. That is a total transformation. When somebody was having a small business and was not able to go to the next level, and then here there is hustler fund whereby you are not needed a collateral, so on and so forth, and then you get money, provided you have a discipline, you are paying it well, then you are able to grow your business and you are able to transform your life. Thirdly, we realize that youth of this country, as much as the hustler fund is there, as much as the other youth funds are there, then they cannot be able to be sustained with own money. So that's why we came up with Nyota. Nyota is a grant. We are giving every youth 22,000. And let me tell you, up to now, we have already given 59,000 youth money, that money. And at the end of it all, we are going to give 800,000 youths that money.
All right.
And they will benefit and will be able to move from one point to the other. About health. SHA, those people who understand how these things are going. Because, for example, the other day I went to Kijabi Hospital. There's a friend of mine who was there. He had a head problem. He was paid for 160,000 bill. I went to Nasade Hospital the other day. I went to Dika Level 4 Hospital. I went to Kiabu Hospital. I went to all these institutions, and SHA is working. And now the other thing is that SHA is sustainable. The other thing these people have been talking about, saying that our president is a liar. Let me tell you, if a country is to grow, it must have reserves. Let me tell you, by the end of this year, NSSF will have a reserve of more than $1 trillion. We don't need to go to China. We don't need to go to the other people to beg for money. We'll be now getting our loan from our local institution here and growing our economy. Right. Let me tell you, the plans are there. And let me tell you, the plans which are there will transform this country in a very, very big way. Just give us time. And the last one, when somebody is doing constructing a house, first you start with foundation. And this is what President Ruto has been doing for the last 2 years. And foundation, most of the times you can't be able to see it. Yes. You'll be able to see from this level going upward, isn't it? Right. So what I'm telling Kenyans is that the plans are there. This government has really transformed the life of most of the Kenyans. And if your life has not been transformed, just open your eyes, listen, go to wherever you need your assistance from. If it's health, go SHA, take SHA. And let me also tell you the other thing is that last time, it was NHIF had a membership of 7,000. Today, as we are talking, SHA has a membership of 24,000 point something.
I think we'll allocate time to talk about scorecards.
Yes, I'm just answering my friend. I'm
we'll
telling him that
time to talk about
the two-term narrative is totally there, and will be there. And Kenyans will appreciate
the scorecard, and Kenyans will be the judge of that. But I want I want to give you each 30 seconds to close this discussion with this question.
Yes.
How do we course correct? Because now we are heading into 2027, and we see the kind of political environment in which the country is operating in.
Yes.
In 30 seconds, how do we course correct and head in the right trajectory? Let me start with you.
As I said earlier, level playing ground. If it's Ndongo who is contesting in UDA, and I go to area which is prone to be competitors' area, let me be given a chance to explain. If it's them, competitor coming to our area, let us also be given level playing ground.
Level playing ground.
Simple and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magningo.
To the leaders who are not tolerating others in terms of competition, let's tolerate one another. Power is transient. Yeah, you are a leader today, tomorrow you are not a leader. Let's compete on a fair environment and let Kenyans decide who they are going to elect as their leader.
As the saying goes, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. To our leaders, we have a country to keep. Our unit of purpose, we must be guided and united by our unit of purpose. That is my opinion.
No, that is Thomas Oma, who is a governance and political expert and also a consumer of geo and local politics. Geopolitics and local politics is his specialty. Thank you so much for making time. And also Mark Ndingo is a politician and governance expert. Thank you for making time. And also Peter Ndongo, a political analyst, making his debut here on Good Morning Kenya. It's your first time on Good Morning Kenya. Karibu sana, and we thank you for making time.
Thank you for giving me opportunity.
Yes, this is where we end this conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly on the other side of Radio Taifa.